do it for the people. You know what I mean? And whatever comes with that, it comes with that. So
I respect it.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of bravery, especially in this day and age. I think a lot of people are afraid to speak their mind.
Yeah.
You know, they're afraid to go against the grain and go against what the media is saying or what we're being told to feel, you know. I know that you've touched on a lot of issues. Are there any other pressing issues that you feel are affecting people in general, young artists, women, that you feel need to be highlighted?
I would feel for sure like artists with platforms that try to, I guess you could say, try to make the system better by working with enforcement, like law enforcement. I feel like that's kind of showing people it's okay. Like, you know, maybe cops could change and stuff, you know what I mean? But I feel like the goal is really abolishing the system. You know, like there's that book, what is it, Abolishment for the People? I think the one that's edited by Kaepernick. But even in that book, they were talking about an application that they had in New York where it's like, instead of calling 911, you could just get on this app and people in the community have it too. So boom, like you see something happen and people from the community are right there. That's what we try to do instead of having to call 911. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's really big. But when you have that platform and you're trying to show these people like, oh, it's okay, you know, like I'm gonna make a difference and effective change through this, it's like, well, no, you're just showing them it's okay. You're enabling the system at that point. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's something is really important that I feel like a lot of artists have to shake. Like you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like the more that you learn about these type of systems as far as, you know, community-based resources, you know, you realize that these aren't new concepts and these aren't even abstract things, you know. When you explain it and you break it down, it's like, why haven't we been doing this?
Yeah.
And then it makes you think like, oh, it's because all of these other things like the prison industrial complex or this and that, they get fed off of the lack of community engagement, the lack of safety, you know. I did an interview with Uche Esemonu of the Not One More Girl campaign. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's a campaign started by women of color, primarily led by Black women, and it's meant to raise awareness and stop sexual harassment on BART. And one of the resources that they have is that, you know, many times victims, they don't want to go to the police either because the police don't know how to handle the situation, which BART has admitted, or it's simply because, you know, when people are on transit, they're likely going to work. They don't have time for these type of things. And because of that, they have community-based resources, therapy, things like that.
Oh, wow, I didn't even know that.
And the other thing I wanted to touch on is, you know, people like Kaepernick, I feel like when you reach a certain level, you can only be a certain amount of woke or, you know, whatever the term is, because, you know, woke has been taken and derailed. You can only do so much for the people because it puts a target on you, you know, and that's why.
It's crazy, too, because in that book, I didn't even know that, well, the reason that Kaepernick had done what he did at that game, you know, when he took that knee, it was for Mario Woods. The guy that was shot here in San Francisco 26 times. Not even, I don't even want to say like killed, he was executed. You know what I mean? That wasn't just like a murder. Like they literally executed that man, you know, for no reason. Like, and it's just crazy to see, like, but again, like he had that platform and he did the right thing with it. Even that show, like Colin Kaepernick in Black and White, I started crying because I'm like, dude, like, I'm getting emotional even thinking about that. But it's dope to see that, you know what I mean? And he even keeps in contact with Mama Woods, like, and shows love, you know what I mean? The last, one of the last events they had for Mario Woods, he was the one that donated the food and everything, you know, and I'm like, dude, like, that, like, that's how, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean he has to be in the city all the time, but he stays connected with community. And that's so inspiring to me. I'm like, bro, like, you could have literally not done that just for football, like, just to, you know what I mean? But he's like, no, fuck that. Like, he saw what was wrong with all of this, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's so inspiring to see, like, and I just wish, like, a lot more people were like that. But I feel like some people also get scared because of what, you know what I mean, the system could do to you, like, or make you look bad, like the industry can make you look bad just like that for speaking truth, you know what I mean? And that's something, that's why I don't want to be signed to any labels and stuff, because they'll make you change your persona, you know what I mean? If they don't like what I'm doing, they won't let me drop music for a few years, and I'm like, I don't want to take that risk at all. I still want to stay true to myself. And like I've told people, even if it changes one person, 10 people, 100, 1,000, like a million, like it doesn't matter as long as someone takes that And like I've told people, if my voice could influence like somebody in this next generation coming up to be the next Malcolm X or something, I'm all for it. It doesn't even have to be me, but if I could influence somebody to do that, then that'd be dope as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
Thank you so much. Neosouled Radio, we are here with Frisco Baby, and she has been dropping gems left and right. I wanted to touch on before we go, you have been dropping ciphers every week for the past couple of months, and it's evolved into what's been known as FriscoBabyFridays.
Yeah.
Can you let our listeners know about that process and, you know?
Yeah, so actually, that was so like, it was very impulsive. You know, it was like a Friday, and I was like, you know, since I haven't been dropping music, but I've had like so much music sitting still, like, you know, but I was like, you know, since these people are watching me perform and I don't have anything, I might as well start dropping something every Friday, you know? So I'm like, I'm going to start doing this thing, Frisco Baby Fridays. But I do want to have different content where it's not just me putting out like the songs I've been doing, you know? And these are like songs that most of them, like probably 70% of them are only going to be on Instagram. I'll only pull out a few to really put out, you know what I mean? Like as singles or whatever. But I want to do different content where it's not just about me, but also other up and coming artists. You know what I mean? Whether it's artists from like the collectives like MTMC or Family Not a Group. Like I told them, you know, all I need is like for you to sit in the passenger seat. We'll call it Rides with Frisco. Put on the camera and I play beats and you freestyle. Sing a song that you already have. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Just have a good time, but also putting on other people, not just myself. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think of ways to also bring in other people. But yeah, I feel like it's been working. A lot of people have messaged me telling me they're inspired. I know for sure like every April, because it's Ramadan and I'm Muslim, I'm not going to be dropping anything. But I do want to start doing like, for example, like this month, like the last song I dropped, like I mentioned it, like I'm not going to be doing music this month, like for Ramadan, but I'll be, you know, back in May, whatever. But towards the end of this month, like I want to be doing like huge give backs every April, you know. Like I just got in contact with Uncle D from Us For Us Bay Area. You know, they distribute food to the homeless and stuff, and I've done it by myself, but I told them it's very time consuming to do it alone or just with like two extra people. So I told him, you know, like I know like I could collect the money, that's not a problem, you know. But I told him if we collab together and we're able to do it with a lot of people, we could do over 500 meals. And that's a blessing, you know what I mean? Of course, there's like some people that are ungrateful about it or don't care for the food, but it's cool. There's a lot of people that are definitely like feel blessed because no one else is doing it, you know? So I told them instead of like focusing on myself for this month, I feel like it should be more like, what could we do for the people? You know what I mean? Like even like the community events at some point, I want to be able to do it where you could come in. They'll have, you know, vendors could be there to make their money, but we could have free food for people in the community. We'll have jumpers, arts and crafts for the kids, people performing, like all this stuff just like for free. You know what I mean? Like, and then if vendors want to come and make their money, by all means, come make your money too and hustle, you know? But I feel like that's the type of stuff I want to be able to do for the community. You know, it gets people engaged. More people are going to be coming out if we do this like 2 Saturdays a month or something, you know, like that. I don't know. I just feel like I want to bring so many people together, but it's going to take time for sure. And, you know, like they say, like freedom is a constant struggle. So I know it's going to take some time. It's going to be a little hard, but I feel like it's not impossible.
Right. And, you know, great things don't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know, I was raised in Antioch, but my family is from Oakland.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hear from my dad's generation and my grandmother's generation just about how there were so many community resources, community events, you know, the Black Panthers doing the free breakfast. We hear often that you used to be able to just go to parks and there would be people there with toys and athletics and, you know, running sports teams and stuff for free, just stuff for the kids to do. And all of these things get cut and all of that funding goes to these huge police budgets, you know. I don't have the specific data for Oakland, but I know more and more and more money has been pumped into the Oakland Police Department for decades.
I think it's just like, I think the beginning of this year, they just recruited a lot more cops too. And it's like,
as they constantly strip from the communities and shut down schools and take away positive outlets for, you know, people to deal with. It sounds to me, do you find that giving back does something for you, you know, for your spirit?
Yes,
does it uplift
definitely.
you?
Like even like in the Quran, it says like when you give, like it makes you feel like, for some reason, it's like, I was just talking to one of my friends about this yesterday. Like I was telling her, I'm like, don't you feel like when you just help somebody, it makes you feel good? And it doesn't even have to be nothing crazy. When you give like homeless people money or you give them food or something, like it feels good on your part because you're like wow, like, you know, it means something to them. And it doesn't have to be something crazy, but or just giving advice, being there for people. I feel like it's something so important instead of thinking like you could do everything by yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I definitely feel like it's changed my mentality a lot. You know, like there was this one that I did where I think we did like about 250 meals. And when we were passing them out, this dude came up to me and he starts talking to me like, and he just told me like, you know, like, let's go to the side. And I told him, did you want a meal? Like, did you want a drink? You know, and he was like, no, I just want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. I was like, what happened? And he was just telling me, you know, I just like, he held my hands and he told me, I just want to let you know your parents did great. And I start crying. Like, I gave this man a hug and I'm like, dude, like, and just hearing that, like, and it's like, it could be so simple and it doesn't mean something to anybody else, but to feel that in the moment that, wow, like, you're taking the time to tell me that, like, it feels like, I don't know, on some genuine stuff, like, it just makes you feel like good. It makes you feel like a better person, you know, and that's like what I'm trying to like strive for, is just try to get better, giving back. Like, a lot of people need that, you know, they need that love, like, whether it's not coming from their homes because, you know, our parents could always be working, trying to make that rent money, so they don't have that. So you go try to find it on the streets, and then the streets get you into more. It's just a whole fucked up cycle, you know what I mean? So I feel like if I could just spread love, like, which is the biggest thing, like, and change people's mentalities, like, that would make such a difference. Like, yeah.
Respect. You know, you got to be the change that you want to see in the world. You know, it's real. With all of the shifts that have been happening in the world, you know, with the pandemic, politics, racism, everything going crazy, you know, how have these shifts affected you, especially when it comes to, you know, the lockdowns? And what steps have you taken to decompress and get your mental state in an improved position?
I was definitely, I could say, like, depressed with all this stuff, seeing how it's not even like I don't know, it's a lot, you know what I mean? A lot with that, as far as like the pandemic, racism, like that, of course, has always been an issue, you know what I mean? And like, I was telling my dad, like, I was like, you know, it's crazy that I realized, like, when we're growing up and we're in elementary school and they show us these pictures of Martin Luther King or like these protests and everything, like they chose to tell us little things about it. Why did I never hear about Malcolm X? But I heard about Martin Luther King, who was just like, oh, like, peace, but we don't need to be violent. Like, no, like, sometimes, you know what I mean, it gets to that point.
Why do
like,
we see these pictures in black and white when we have the technology to put it out in color?
Exactly, that's what I was saying. So when we see that as kids, we're like, wow, this was so
old, long ago.
And it wasn't. It was less than 100 years ago, you know, like, so I feel like I studied a lot more about this, and it was just like frustrating to learn, like, wow, like, all this stuff has been literally in front of us, but no one talked about it. You know, so I feel like that time definitely helped me get more intact with that. You know what I mean? I feel I did a lot more research about it, and that's what really led me to being way more active with community. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, now we really see this shit for what it is, and it's sad to see that some people really just looked at it as a trend. I know some people that pulled up to the protests just when it started, you know what I mean? And they're not out there no more, you know? But it's like I said, like Angela Davis says, like, it's a constant struggle. It might not even happen in our lifetime, but at least we're here doing it, you know? And that's what matters. Like, you're leaving that, you know what I mean? You're showing these people that are coming up, like, what we're trying to do, the differences we're trying to make. But I feel like it's sad for sure, like, to see, like, even Officer Cabillo, he was the one that killed Derek Gaines in South City, and then he gets dropped from South City PD but hired at SFPD. Wow. Like, that blows my mind. Like, how the hell, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, regardless if they do something in this, like, PD and they're, okay, well, you did this, you're easily get hired at another one. And it's like so sad. Like, this is our system. It's easier to become a cop than probably get like a part-time job. You know what I mean? Like, it blows my mind. Like, and I don't know. I just feel like I want to be able to use my voice to talk about this stuff for sure.
And SFPD been corrupt, you know, like all these police departments, but especially SFPD. Like, that's the whole reason San Francisco itself got radicals, because the cops were beating people up left and right. You know?
And there was even for Dakari, there was this court case we had went to, you know, like, some community members and stuff were going to go support, you know, and we're there, and it's like, you see these cops that are coming, like, so you see them to the left, you know, communities to the right, and we're just watching them, like, just like, bro, look at these people. Like, you know, they got undos coming in with like red bandanas and black probates. I'm like, you guys are literally like, you know, what is the judge gonna see? Oh, there's someone here with a bandana and like a hoodie and dressed like this, but they're fucking undos. You know what I mean? So it's like, you guys know what you're doing, and to see it from that, like, that perspective, like, it was crazy to me. I was like, you guys are so scandalous. You know what I mean? Like, at what point, like, just like this dude that, like, and again, Officer Cabillo was involved with that, but in the footage, they didn't have no sound. They start saying in the courtroom, oh, there's no sound for the footage. Like it was just so much BS. You know, they cut off, like, from Officer Cabillo's like neck down, like, oh, like, those are his legs, but why don't they show his face? You know what I mean? He was the only cop. They didn't state his full name. And just to see that, I'm like, wow. And this wasn't even, like, I don't even want to say not a major case, because it was, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just like, just to see, like, they could get away with this stuff, and the way they work around it, the whole system is just like.
And, you know, while we have time, how do you feel about the whole Kamala Harris, Jamal Truelove situation? I don't know if you're privy to that, but Jamal Truelove, he is a rapper and a model. And I'm sorry, he's a rapper, he is a actor, and he was in The Last Man in San Francisco. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie.
No.
But The Last Black Man in San Francisco. He was arrested for something that he didn't do, and the DA at the time was Kamala Harris. And so he's been, you know, speaking out about it. And, you know, a lot of people view Kamala Harris in differentiating ways just because of her track record.
Yeah, definitely. She got so many people arrested just for weed. Yeah. Just for weed. That's crazy to me, because I'm like, you talk about you're for the people and everything, but you haven't even, you know what I mean? Like, what effective change are you really doing for a community?
And that's what I think about with, you know, the whole Black Lives Matter fiasco. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Alicia Garza and Patrisse Cullors. Alicia Garza actually graduated from San Francisco State here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's been rumored for months that the founders of Black Lives Matter, specifically Patrisse Cullors, she has been pocketing the donation money and using it for her own expenses. She recently just bought a $6 million mansion, and I believe that she has multiple mansions. And, you know, this is after months of the victims of the families calling people like her out, activists like Tamika Mallory out, all of these activists who have rose to almost a celebrity status. You know, you see them at the Grammys, and they're getting all of this money, but meanwhile, the families and the communities of these victims of police brutality, they're not seeing all of the money that's been fueled, you know. Black Lives Matter, I'm pretty sure it got close, like millions of dollars were donated.
I'd heard about that. I feel like it sucks that they have to live with that they're not being true to themselves. That, like, I don't know how you're able to sleep at night doing something like that, you know what I mean? And at the end, like, I tell people all the time, like, God sees everything. You could lie to the people and stuff, but God sees everything, and we're in this life temporary. You know what I mean? I personally do believe in the afterlife, so I feel like you bring that upon yourself. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's so disrespectful. It's so low. Like, I feel like I don't know. It hurts to even, like, literally, like, just hear that. Like, there's people mourning out here. You know what I mean? There's, like, community trying to be with these families that have lost people, you know what I mean, to the system. And to know that you just make your money off this for a mansion.
And there's people giving their money to this cause, you know what I mean? Thinking their money is going to the right place. You know?
And that's why it's even like with the stuff I would do, like when I would collect money, I told them, like, bro, from every donation I get, you guys get pictures of the receipts, you guys get pictures of how much money's left over, like all of that, you know what I mean? And it was stressful trying to make sure everybody who donated got it, but I made sure, like, you guys are all seeing this, there's money left over for the next drive we're gonna do, like, and it was just hectic doing it alone, but you know what I mean? Like, I just want to let these people know, like, because of stuff like that, and it happens all the time, you know what I mean? And it's sad to see, but, like, I don't know, I don't know, I can't believe that, and I feel like it definitely sucks for them, because I know, like, they're not 100% happy knowing what they're doing.
Of course not. You know, of course not. And it's the denial and the deflecting with it is crazy. But, you know, nothing is new under the sun. And it really be your own people. You know, it reminds me of what happened with the Black Panthers and how they infiltrated that. I don't know if you've seen Judas and the Black Messiah. But, you know, that same type of deal. They'll use your own people. They'll use a weak link. They'll prop up the wrong people.
And it's like, even at one of the events, the Build Community Break the Chains event that we did at La Raza Park, Malik Washington, you know, like, he came, and it was so crazy because I really believe in my intuition. You know, I pray to God, like, just to have that intuition, you know, and there was that dude Malik Washington who was there recording everything, and then I told my friends, like, you know, he's recording the whole thing, and I just have a weird feeling about him, you know, and my boy's like, no, like, he's good, bro. Like, he's just having fun, like, supporting. I'm like, he's over supporting, bro, and recording the whole thing. Like, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. So I just try to keep my distance, you know? And a week later, it, like, comes out that he was actually working with the FBI.
He was an op?
Yeah. He had literally, like, I think it was, like, a case in Texas. I think I could definitely be wrong, but, like, saying he was going to help this dude get off this case, and he had to write a letter to the DA. And this dude ended up actually writing in that letter to the DA that he did do everything. He fucked up his chance of getting out and all this stuff. But I'm like, at what cost? You're coming to a fucking community event where we're trying to put on for the people and make money ourselves, and you're recording the whole thing. But for what? Like, how low can you get? You know what I mean? Like, and once that came out, like, and I told my friends, they're like, dude, you were right. And I told them I knew there was something off about that, man. You know what I mean? So it's scary. You know what I mean? To go up and be talking about this stuff sometimes, like, not knowing who's watching, but at the same time, fuck that. Like, I'm still talking and use my voice. I don't care if you're watching or recording, like, you know? But it's really sad to see that it happens, like, even at our community events. And it's not something crazy, like, but to know, like, is it that much of a threat? You know what I mean? Like, you guys really have to send people out here to watch what we're doing, like, and everything like that. It's sad.
But look, you think it's not. I'm studying under Davey D, who is a hip-hop historian. And one of the things that we're learning is, when hip-hop and rap was first popping off, and when, the NWA and Tupac and all these things, Eazy-E, when all of this was just emerging, there were people in the government who were studying these lyrics. There were people tasked with writing down all the lyrics and analyzing the lyrics because they knew that the power that these cultural movements had, you know what I mean? The power to influence.
Yeah, like the feds have a rap division now. And it's crazy. I'm like, how do you guys, a rap division where rap is definitely like Latino and Black dominant? You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to, like, what we talk about and stuff. But it's like, what about, like, I don't even want to say, like, heavy metal, rock. There's lyrics where people are talking about killing each other. You know what I mean?
Satanism,
like, stuff like that.
And,
Like, there was this thing I just saw on Twitter. This was crazy. Like, some white dude that was at a Popeyes. And he threatened this, like, Black girl. He was like, I'll lynch you. You know what I mean? Like, I'll have you hanging, like, from a tree. Like, something like that. And I'm like, this is this year. And then after, like, you know how Twitter is, like, they were quick to find man's information, found his Instagram, so everyone's talking shit, and I'm, like, over here shouting, like, this out, like, y'all, like, go drop a comment, like, report this page, whatever. His Instagram name is, like, Killed Anubis. Like, that was, like, a Black Egyptian god, so it's, like, crazy to see, like, how can you get away with having a name like that? But now imagine, like, a Black person having, like, a title like that, you know what I mean? Like, I killed Donald Trump. That, oh, my God, everyone's gonna be looking like, who is this person? Da, 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 you know what I mean? But it's, like, it's so crazy to see how it works like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The whole thing is all fucked up. It's sad, but we have to do what we have to do to make that change,
And, just as important as fighting for these issues is taking that time to step away and decompress, because at the same time, it's very important to give yourself that mental break, because the things that you're fighting for, these are huge societal issues that may not be solved in your lifetime. It doesn't mean you stop fighting, but you got to pour into yourself at the same time. So as far as your music and your career, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Man, 10 years from now, I definitely see no problem with finance, for sure. I want to be able to do, like, create spaces for youth. You know what I mean? Troubled youth. I was a part of, why did I just forget what it's called? I forgot. It'll come back to me, though. But I was a part of a group where I was in continuation school in high school, and they used to come, I think it was every Tuesday, Thursday, with Dr. Marshall, Alive and Free, and it blew my mind because this is when I had that realization too. I was only 16, 17, and from going to high school, like to regular high school to continuation school, and they give us these these books for credits, and when I took it home and I'm like, all right, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I literally did the whole English book, and it was like some second grade work. You know what I mean? It was like, do they really think we're that stupid? You know what I mean? And I'm looking like, maybe because we don't do stuff, but it's crazy to give us this level of education when, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So being there, like, it was crazy. Like, I did the whole book. I took it to my teacher, and he just skims through my notes. He's like, okay, go take your test. I'm like, bro, I did this whole book. I'm bringing you a stack of work like this, and you're just going to, like, skim through it. Tell me. He's like, well, the test is going to show if you did it. And again, tests were super easy. Like, it was crazy. It blew my mind. Like, but Dr. Marshall would come, and He made us watch Roots, you know what I mean? He would come out of his way. He would come and pick us up around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. on Thursdays, take us to 3rd, you know what I mean, to go to the Live and Free Center. And then you're in a room with all these troubled youth. You're with different sections, you know, youth from different sections and stuff, different colors, whatever. Have you go up, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And are you going to continue? I have seen some of the most hardest people cry up there, you know what I mean? And after we all know, like, damn, we really all, like, go through the same shit. We're just different sections, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, from that, busting out new algebra books, new English books, teaching us new vocab, like, that's dope, you know what I mean? To know that even if that message or that influence didn't stay with everybody that was in those rooms, I know it stuck to me. And that motivated me to be able to do something like that. Like, when I blow up, I want to have centers like that youth don't have to pay, like, to come work, you know what I mean? If they want to learn new stuff, like teachers that'll teach them about Malcolm X, the actual history of this country that people don't talk about, you know, have free studios for them to come and work if they want to do music. Like, but that's like my biggest thing, is just finding ways to give back that'll also have them inspired. You know what I mean? To make a difference. And same thing, that cycle just keeps going, you know what I mean? And expanding. Like, so I feel like that's my biggest goal for sure, that, and just definitely still being there for community, you know, and doing what we can. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, you know, Frisco Baby, do you have any other words of advice for our listeners who may also be artists, or anyone out there who has a dream that they want to fulfill? I
say do it. You know what I mean? Life is too short. You don't want to be like way older looking back like, I could have done this because I had a dream, but you fell victim to the system. I say go for whatever it is you want to do. No dreams are impossible. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a thought about it, execute it, make it into action. You know what I mean? Like, it starts with the thought. So I feel like definitely just find your passion. Like, spend some alone time, find what you love doing, and just keep it going no matter what, how hard life gets, how stressed we get out, just keep it going, you know?
Yes, because I feel like, you know, that doubt, that self-doubt, that's part of the system. You know, they don't want us to believe in ourselves. They want us to doubt ourselves. They don't want us to be different in what we create and how we think and how we feel, you know. They want us to be afraid. And so you got to keep it pushing regardless.
Exactly.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So how can our listeners reach you? Where can they find you?
So Instagram _FriscoBaby. I am going to be probably after Ramadan dropping a little song because I had people waiting, you know what I mean, a little surprise drop.
Okay.
But definitely as far as like wanting to contact, I would say definitely Instagram. And from there, I try to reach out to everybody that messages me, you know what I mean? Everybody, I try to show some love, like, or just send them positive messages, like randomly, just to, you know what I mean? People need to see that, you know, like, even like, you never know who's going through it. Instagram, you just see them and it's all a facade. You know what I mean? When you see people, it's like they look like they're living their best lives, but you really never know what they're going through. So even if it's that message, you know, sending you some love, positive energy and blessings, and people are like, oh my God, I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? I just hope you have a good day. You know what I mean? Stay up, like stuff like that. So I feel like I definitely reach out through that, but music's going to be dropping by, say, Instagram for sure, that _FriscoBaby.
Okay, _FriscoBaby. We are excited for it, you know. This whole conversation has been very refreshing. It's very refreshing.
I feel like I needed it.
I needed this. So thank you so much. You know, the realness is, you don't get that often nowadays. So Neosouled Radio, this has been your host, Kyrie Nashim, aka Neosouled, with Frisco Baby. I just want to thank you again. And yeah. Any last words?
No, thank you.
Okay, for sure. All right then.